Hey everyone, and welcome back. Sometimes, the internet throws us some pretty bizarre curveballs, and this whole Peanut the Squirrel thing is definitely one of them. Or should I say PND, the meme coin? It seems like it's absolutely everywhere right now. We've got Elon Musk tweeting about squirrels and a brand new token that's just skyrocketing in value, and we're even seeing market caps hitting $2 billion. So what in the world is actually going on
Oh,
here?
it's been a wild ride, that's for sure. What we seem to be seeing with PNUT is this really fascinating convergence of a tragic pet story and then meme culture layered on top of that. And then you add in some celebrity influence and just the general unpredictable nature of the crypto market.
It's nuts, right? It's like a real-life case study in how a local event can go viral and then almost instantly transform into this huge financial phenomenon.
I mean, let's just start with the story of Peanut himself. He wasn't just any squirrel, he was like an Instagram star.
Yeah, he was huge online. Rescued as an orphan by Mark Longo, and he just became this beloved online personality. They even created an animal sanctuary upstate for him. But then things took a bit of a dark turn.
Yeah, that's where it gets a little complicated. You see, New York State has these really strict regulations about keeping wild animals, even if they're pets. So the Department of Environmental Conservation got involved, and there were these allegations about Peanut biting an officer. And in the end, both Peanut and another animal, a raccoon named Fred, were euthanized over rabies concerns. But the real controversy was that they both tested negative for rabies.
Yeah, I can definitely see why people were so outraged. It seemed like a pretty extreme overreaction, sending a whole team of officers to seize these animals.
Mhm.
And of course, social media just blew up,
Wow.
especially with all the pre-election tensions going on at the time. People really saw this as government overreach, a symbol of individual liberties being completely trampled on.
Exactly. And this whole local story just tapped into these much broader anxieties about bureaucratic power, which really made it prime meme material, ripe for being amplified and remixed online.
And boom, the PNUT meme coin was born. It was launched on November 2nd, literally the day after Peanut died. And it all started on this platform called Pump.fun. This is where things get a little interesting for me. Tell me a little more about Pump.fun, because I'm not really that familiar with it. It sounds like the absolute center of the meme coin universe.
Yeah, you could think of it as kind of a meme coin factory. It's this platform that's built on the Solana blockchain, and it basically lets anyone create a token very quickly and pretty cheaply too. And this ease of creation is a bit of a double-edged sword. It contributes to both the excitement and the volatility that we see so much of in the meme coin market. So on the one hand, it's incredibly democratic because anyone can participate. But on the other hand, there's a really low barrier to entry for potential scams or pump and dump schemes.
All right, okay, so PNUT starts trading, and at first it doesn't do much, just kind of slowly climbs a bit. It hit a low of $0.03 on November 4th. But then enter Elon Musk. On November 3rd, he tweets, "Vote for Peanut, for liberty, for freedom, PM."
Yeah.
Now, whether he meant the squirrel or the coin, nobody really knows. But it definitely put PNUT on the map. And then he did it again on the 13th, too. He just tweeted PNUT.
Yeah, well, Musk has this undeniable influence on the meme coin market. His ironic persona and all his success really resonates with the whole meme culture. And when he engages with a token like that, it triggers this fear of missing out, that FOMO feeling. But it also fosters a sense of community among investors who feel like they're in on the joke.
And after that, things just went absolutely ballistic. On November 11th, PNUT gets listed on Binance, which is the largest crypto exchange in the world. And the price explodes 256% that day. By November 14th, it hits an all-time high of $2.47, with a market cap exceeding $1.2 billion. We're talking about one of the fastest-growing meme coins ever. Even UFC fighter Jim Miller shouts out "Justice for Peanut" after his win on November 17th, which of course just added to the frenzy.
It's a classic example of what we call the Binance effect. Getting listed on a major exchange like Binance brings a lot of legitimacy, and it opens access to a much wider pool of traders, and this often leads to a huge price surge. And this effect is even more amplified for meme coins, which are often traded more on hype than anything else.
Okay, but here's where I start to get a little nervous. This all feels very emotionally driven, and while that's understandable given the whole story, we also have to look at the numbers, right?
Yeah. Right. And that's where the Relative Strength Index, or RSI, comes in. It's a technical indicator that basically helps us gauge whether an asset is overbought or oversold. And right now, the RSI is flashing some pretty serious warning signs for PNUT. It's sitting firmly in overbought territory. We have to remember that markets are cyclical, and this level of enthusiasm often comes right before a big correction. Yeah, it's like we're seeing a replay of Goatsy Maximus, as it was called. Remember that one? Is another animal-themed meme coin that saw a massive pump after it got listed on an exchange, only to completely tank like right after. It doesn't necessarily mean that PNUT is doomed or anything, but it's a good reminder that these markets are so volatile, especially when they're driven by sentiment like this.
So what does all of this mean for someone who, let's say they're just hearing about PNUT now for the very first time? Should they jump in, or is it already too late?
Well, we can't give financial advice, but we can definitely break down some of the dynamics that are at play here. And the important thing to remember is that meme coins are really driven by sentiment, often much more so than any kind of underlying fundamentals. While the technology behind them might be sound, their value is largely determined by social trends and community engagement. And yes, even the whims of someone like Elon Musk.
Right, so there's a lot of risk involved.
Yeah.
But what about the potential rewards? I mean, we've all heard the stories of people making a fortune from meme coins. Is there a way to navigate this space responsibly, or is it just basically pure gambling?
It's definitely a high-risk, high-reward environment. And you're right, some people have made an absolute ton of money from these meme coins. But for every success story like that, there are probably countless others who have lost big. So it's crucial to approach this with a very clear understanding of the risks involved. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose. And be prepared for the very real possibility that you could lose it all.
That actually reminds me of the story about AMP, one of the creators of that ACT meme coin. They actually ended up selling all of their tokens and leaving the community because the pressure and the scrutiny just became too much.
Yeah, it just goes to show the intense emotional roller coaster that comes with these overnight successes in the crypto world. Even those who seem to be winning can find it overwhelming. Which brings up a really interesting question, I think. Are meme coins just a passing fad, or are they a sign of something much bigger, like a fundamental shift in how we value things in the digital age?
Right. It's not just about the money. There's this whole cultural phenomenon surrounding meme coins. They're like a form of social currency. They represent belonging to a community and participating in a shared joke, and maybe even a little bit of rebellion against traditional finance.
Yeah, it's this really fascinating intersection of finance and technology and even social psychology. Meme coins tap into our very human desire for connection and entertainment, and, maybe even a little bit of risk-taking.
So where does PNUT go from here? Does it just keep climbing, or is the bubble about to burst?
Well, it's impossible to predict with any certainty. Some analysts think this is just the beginning, and that we could see even higher prices for PNUT. But others are more cautious, and they point to things like the RSI and other technical indicators as signs of a potential correction.
I don't know. It's just fascinating to see how this one event, the story about Peanut the Squirrel, sparked this whole chain reaction with all these other new meme coins popping up like FLOCK, the Flockers token, and they're all just trying to ride the wave. It makes you wonder what the lasting impact of all of this will be.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, the meme coin landscape is constantly evolving with new players emerging all the time. It's this incredibly dynamic and unpredictable space that demands careful consideration and a healthy dose of skepticism, I think.
So I guess the big question is, what can we learn from all of this? What does the rise of PNUT and all these other meme coins tell us about the future of finance and technology? And maybe even culture, too.
That's the question we all need to be asking ourselves, I think. What we're seeing is a shift in how people engage with money and community and value creation. Meme coins might seem frivolous on the surface, but they're actually pushing the boundaries of what's possible with blockchain technology. They're experimenting with new forms of community governance and decentralized finance, and even social interaction.
So maybe we shouldn't dismiss them outright. There could be some real innovation happening here, even if it's wrapped up in a meme-worthy package.
Exactly. It's a good reminder that sometimes the most disruptive ideas come from the most unexpected places. And in a world that can often feel a little too serious, maybe a little bit of squirrel-powered fun isn't such a bad thing.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, this has been an absolutely incredible deep dive, and I think we've all learned a lot about the power of memes and the unpredictable nature of the crypto market, and those strange ways that the online and offline worlds collide.
It's been a pleasure unpacking all of this with you.
And as always, we want to thank you, our amazing listeners, for joining us on this journey. We love exploring these fascinating topics and sharing our insights with you.
And we hope you find it valuable and thought-provoking.
If you did, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our future deep dives. We've got a lot more exciting topics coming up, and we can't wait to share them with you.
Until next time, keep exploring and keep learning. And keep asking questions.
See you soon.